Hey folks, welcome to episode number 13 of the Rhubarb Travelers podcast. We are recording this show on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. I am Blake, and with me as always is Damon. How are you doing, my friend?
Are we supposed to record an episode 13, or is that like we're supposed to skip it?
Do we skip it? I know, it's like a hotel. Do we just skip it and go straight? I think we're going to just say we're doing 13. Going to keep the number.
Okay.
So, how you been doing?
That's fine. I've been doing okay. So again, I kind of posted this on the group, but I had asked my oldest son, it's his senior year. He had asked me about going, might go with some of my friends to somewhere for spring break. We're like, that's fine. Didn't really hear anything about it. And then, a couple months ago, I said to him, well, you can always go to Disney because we have points. And again, we're not using our points for a while, right? Like, I'm not worried about this year's points. So he was like, all right, thanks. And then didn't hear anything until yesterday. Hey, so can we get something for next week?
Typical college student. Yep.
Yeah. But what was interesting is like, I said, I was telling my wife, like, well, what's cheaper? Because, he's going to go with 4 other people.
Right.
I'm not asking them for any money. We're just, kind of doing it. I said, I hope like they pay for his food, but whatever, that's a kid's thing. They don't understand how much the hotel would cost if they went there themselves, but neither here nor there. So I said, it doesn't really matter Disney World or Hilton Head. I said, Hilton Head's a little closer for us. And then I looked, I was like, oh my goodness, like Hilton Head's like 45 degrees. Like that's cold. Like, what are they going to do? I said, oh, dude, send them to Orlando. And then I looked at Orlando, it was like 25. And I was like, oh, I guess it doesn't really matter.
So now they haven't actually gone yet, have they?
They haven't what?
They haven't gone yet, right? They had to
No, they go on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I think they're back here Wednesday. Like originally we were going to send them for 4 days. Well, my wife would have sent them for 4 days. And I'm like, it's a bunch of college kids. Like they can go for 3 days. Like I don't want to have to I don't mind spending the points, but I'm also not wasting points for no reason. Luckily, I mean, you know how hard Hilton Head is to get into, and we're talking spring break. Like they had a 2-bedroom, and I was like, it's 5 of them. I would have sent them to a 1-bedroom, but they wasn't even available. So it wasn't bad. It was like 70 something points.
All right.
So not terrible. So and then we're going next month. We're in a 2-bedroom for the first night and then a 3-bedroom for the second night. We're there for my daughter's 16th, and she's bringing some friends. So Hilton Head 2 times.
So a 2-night stay, and you're going to be in a different room each night.
Yeah, it's funny because again, like how my son got this 2-bedroom for the whole time, and like we had to split ours. Originally, actually, what had happened is we only had the 3-bedroom.
Right.
And then we had a wait list the other night because we're going for 2 nights. What we did, because we knew we wanted to go regardless, is we booked at another hotel.
Right.
Just so that we could get through to the 2 nights. And then we ended up getting our wait list. But it was a wait list for a 2-bedroom, not a 3-bedroom. But there's going to be 4 of us. So I think we'll be fine in a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom.
Well, cool. Well, I took a cue from you, and I actually signed up. This is based off of our last show's discussion. I signed up for the LA Olympics ticket lottery. So,
okay,
we'll see. Maybe Damon and I will do a live report from out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll have. It's going to be interesting because when I go on this trip in June, it keeps getting longer. So we just had to rebook it all because of these World Cup tickets.
This is the Texas trip you're talking about.
Well, it's really Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah, Grand Canyon. Okay.
But we're going to be in Sedona an extra day and Dallas an extra day now because of these World Cup tickets. And I'm going to be it's over 2 weeks. Like, I think I'm going to have to check in and do stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Because it's a long time. It's going to be a long time.
You're going to have to bring your gear with you so we can record.
Yeah, I mean, I might.
Can I tell you, you should do one thing that my wife and I did when we went to Dallas, which your kids are not going to appreciate, but you can go to South Fork, from the Dallas TV show. Have you ever been?
I have no idea what that is.
What? You don't remember J.R. Ewing?
I never watched the show.
Okay. Well, we went to the South Fork, which is the house that was in the show.
Oh yeah, I have zero interest in that. We're going to the Netflix house. we're going to Peppa Pig Land, and we're going to some water parks. So,
all right. All right, folks. Well, look, we want to take a moment to thank our Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much for donating your money to us. It helps us quite a bit with the expenses related to this podcast. So if you are interested in becoming a Patreon, it is only $5 a month. Head on over to patreon.com and do a search for Rhubarb Travelers, and we will come up, and we would appreciate it if you consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. And as part of that, you get priority on listener questions. So we have 2 listener questions, both from current Patreon subscribers. The first one is from Jeremy, longtime listener. Hey, Jeremy. His question is, what upcoming new thing has you the most interested in visiting a Disney park? What about you, Damon?
So I was hearing the rumors of some of the Villain Land stuff. And again, these are just strictly straight rumors.
Right.
And that they would use like the same ride system as Harry Potter, and that Monsters Unleashed, that the arm to like do a villains thing.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, I'm going to be the most disappointed person, because I just will be very disappointed. So I think for me, it's going to be the Door Coaster, even though like I'm not a Monsters Inc. fan. Like, I don't like Billy Crystal. Like, I just, I'm not really a huge fan of, any of the character. Like, I'm not a fan, but I think that because it's going to be such an interesting concept for a coaster, I'm hopeful that it will be something new and different. So I think that's probably what I'm most looking forward to outside of Lakeshore. I mean, I heard the rumblings of the Lazy River, right? There's a couple new pictures for the Lazy River and the bridge that's going to go over the Lazy River. So yeah, I would say that that's probably.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Villains Land, especially given what we've heard recently from Josh tomorrow, which we will be talking about here in just a minute. I think it's going to be something to behold. So I am looking forward to Villains Land. So, all right, our other question is from Kevin L., who is also a Patreon subscriber. Thank you very much, Kevin. His question is, you are given the option to double the amount of years left on all of your DVC contracts, but you have to cut your point totals in half. And so at this stage of your DVC ownership, would you do it? And then on the flip side of that, what if they doubled your points, but the years you have left are cut in half? So what's your opinion on that?
That's an interesting one, because like for me, I feel like on my Saratoga contract, I'd probably just leave it alone. I think my Riviera contract, I would double the points, but the years left are cut in half. That wouldn't be bad for me.
Right.
I don't know how many points I need, though. It's like, I don't need any points until I need points, and then I don't have enough points, but I don't
never
really need any points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem. Like, I won't need any points this year, so they're going to, we're going to take some for Hilton Head, and even like, so if my son's, taking 70 and we're taking 90, I'm already at 160, like they go quick.
Yeah. And
then when we go to Disney, I don't know when I'm going to Disney yet. It's just like this weird thing. Like, what am I waiting for?
And when you say Disney, do you mean the parks or just the resorts?
The parks.
Yeah.
Like, what am I waiting for? Am I waiting for Villains Land? Am I waiting for Cars Land? But are they both going to be done at the same point, like the same year? Like, I don't know what I'm waiting for. I'm not, and none of the refurbs have me pushing my Disney timeline any closer, right?
Right.
The only thing that really gets me there at this point is one of those two parks, or is it both parks, right? Like, that's the question. Once the dates come out, but I don't think I use points until 27 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can always borrow points. That's the other thing. Like, when we went to Epic Universe, like, I don't need to go again for another couple years. I think it's going to be the same way for Villains Land. And for Cars Land. I mean, I'll pay to make sure I ride everything. And as long as I ride everything, I don't think I need to go back for a while. So how this all relates back. So I would take my Riviera. I would double the points, even though I don't know if I need them, but I would cut the years in half because I just don't know how the kids are going to break up our contracts. You know what I mean? So I'm not really sure. So I would do that.
Yeah.
You have no points. You have no reason to answer this.
Well, you know what? If I did, I would.
Which you don't.
Which I don't yet. I would do
so here's a better question for you, though. Like, at this point in your life, is it worth buying DVC points?
Absolutely. Yes. I'm going to do it. I will do it. I mean, I know my wife listens to this show and she's kind of on board with it. But we are going to get it. And the way I see it is I'm looking at this as generational, if that makes sense. This is going to be something that I pass on to my kids. In fact, I've thought about it is when my time nears, right, which is hopefully a very, very long time from now, right? But when my time nears, I would actually think about buying a brand new contract and just going ahead and putting my kids' names on it so they've got another 50 or 60 years ahead of them, plus their kids can use it. So yeah, I would do the double points, but cut the years in half just because, you can always buy another contract when that contract's over. So,
yep.
All right, let's move on to Disney news. And the big news coming out of Disney over the last 2 weeks is we have not even entered into officially Josh D'Amaro's tenure as CEO, and he is already making his mark on the parks. And he's doing it by pausing temporarily construction on New Villains Land. And he's doing it because he has instructed Imagineers to go back and reevaluate everything that they've designed for Villains Land and the entire Beyond Big Thunder expansion in that part of the park. And he's reportedly, now this is nothing officially official, but the rumors coming out is that he has scrapped the safe, quote unquote, safe initial concepts to this area. And he wants something bigger, something darker, and something more technologically ambitious. Now, the initial concepts, they leaned heavily on what they're calling atmospheric walkthroughs and a single high capacity boat ride. So nice things, but not a wow things, right? So D'Amaro has tasked Imagineers to go back and let's look at this and do something that has an e-ticket punch to it, right? So, and let's face it, he wants this partially to compete against Universal's because they've got the Dark Universe. Yeah, because he has to, right? Epic Universe is right down the road, and they've kind of raised the bar on what a land can do. Now, some of the rumored new elements. There's going to be a Forbidden Mountain coaster, which calls for a record-breaking launch system. So think Rock and Roller Coaster, soon to be the Muppet Coaster, that weaves through the massive practical show scenes, which is moving away from the screen-heavy designs. And if I could pipe in some applause music, I would do that right now.
I mean, you could if you actually.
Yeah, I'll do that in post. Yeah, I'll do that in post.
But to me, like this record-breaking launch system, I don't think that necessarily has to mean fast. And I don't think it would for something like this. Right. I think we're going to get something a little bit different, something maybe just different than, what we've seen in launch systems. To me, this feels like it's going to be kind of what Dollywood is doing in terms of their new ride that's coming.
Right. Night Flight.
Yeah. I think that we're looking at something like that.
Right.
Which will be interesting, right? Like, I mean, I can be on board with that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Also, it's going to include a trackless ride system. So this would be a case where you are going through an attraction and depending on which villain controls the room you might be in, it will dictate what happens to the cars. So they're not going to follow the same track every time. This leads into replayability factor, which is something that's very important now for rides. So You don't experience the same thing every single time. It gives you a reason to come back and experience it again.
Yeah, I mean, this could be interesting. This is one where it's really going to depend on what the
villains
rooms look like. Like
Yeah.
how in depth do the rooms look like, right? Like when I think about Mickey's Runaway, it's okay, like it's good, but like the replayability factor is not there. And it does
Right.
seem sparse in areas, right? Like I want a little bit more.
Right. I think this is also going to be where they will kind of lean into the, I don't want to say super scary, but maybe darker.
I just don't see them doing. I think they've learned their lesson. Like, what can you do? You can't stop kids from going to rides at Disney World or Disneyland, right? You can't unless they're not tall enough, unless you make a trackless ride and then you just like up the height requirement just cause.
Right.
That's an interesting concept. Could you up the height requirement?
Right.
For the scare factor.
Right. Which automatically prevents younger kids from going.
I mean, unless they're super tall, but I mean, you're trying to control the control system. Interesting. I mean, it's an interesting one.
Yeah. They're also looking at designing a central fortress of evil. So think about this as a castle within the particular land, not just.
I don't like that it's for a dining and theater show, though. Like, I don't know.
Well, they're looking at the Beast's castle, right? And understand this, Be Our Guest is the #1 rated and best money-making dining experience at Disney World.
Pretty good food.
Yep, and pretty good food. They are trying to replicate that. By the way, can you just even imagine a character dining with villains? People would be throwing money at Disney to be able to do that.
Yeah, but like, again, I don't think... I think you end up bringing kids that are going to be scared while you're eating, like, and crying. Like, I don't think that's a good thing either. They have to be very careful with this. They have to figure out, like, what they can and can't do and where they can and can't do it, right? Like, to make sure that you're not causing drama. Like, this is the biggest problem that Disney has. Universal doesn't have to worry as much about that path. But Disney has to worry about that a lot more. So I don't know how they're going to accomplish that. That's going to be the interesting and the hard part. Like, is it scary enough? Is it not scary enough? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think it's possible to be dark without being scary, right? Does that make sense?
No, because once you're dark, you're kind of scary.
Can be mild scary. It's not going to be an alien encounter scary like it was back in the day, but anyway. All right. So the big question here, obviously, is this going to delay the opening of Villains Land? So, I mean, obviously, it's going to delay.
I didn't realize the timeline was already out to 29 from the jump.
Right. Yeah. So originally,
crazy. So I don't need to go to Disney for a long time, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Right. So originally, Villains Land was supposed to open in 2029. However, now, first off, it's important to note that they've done a lot of land clearing out there behind, oh gosh, why am I blanking on Haunted Mansion, right? And where Rivers of America used to be. But the important thing to note is they haven't done any vertical construction yet, which is great because that still allows them to make changes without too much expense. Now, it'll depend on the building footprints, whether they need to be changed, because that will change, obviously, drainage and water lines and electrical lines and things like that. But again, the original timeline was suggested in 2029. However, with these changes that Damaro is requesting, it's looking like now, I don't see how they can get out of making it into 2030 or even 2031. So now, to help offset this, it's reported that Damaro is looking at moving to a 24-hour construction timeline to help, keep us on the original date. So if this works, it could be a new paradigm for how Walt Disney World builds new attractions. They kind of have this reputation for being extremely slow in building new attractions.
I think 2029 is extremely slow.
Well, yeah. Well, if you think about it, that's 3 years off for an entire land. Tron itself took 4 years.
How long did Epic Universe take?
I want to say 2.5.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
I'm hoping that this is Disney moving into a new phase of let's not take forever to put something in place.
We shall see.
We shall see. So now the other question is this a insight into how Tomorrow is going to lead Walt Disney World? So what I mean by, I hope so too. So think about what Bob Iger did during his tenure. He acquired multiple IPs. He bought Star Wars. He bought Marvel. He bought something else recently that I cannot remember what it is, but he spent all of this time acquiring all of these IPs and content. Now, I'm hoping that Tomorrow is the one that's going to be able to capitalize on all of them in the experiences and the park. So, like we just mentioned, I hope this means that we are moving away from the quote unquote safe experiences where, and by safe, I don't mean non-scary. I mean safe as in we know this formula works. Let's just rebuild another one of these with a different layover on it. I'm hoping this means that Tomorrow is going to continue to encourage Imagineers to think big, to think bold, to come up with things that we've never seen before. Now, all of this aligns with Tomorrow's recent comments, if you've read recently, on the Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run ride, where he said that we've done polling on it and guests like the ride, but they don't love the ride. And not loving an attraction is really just not acceptable in today's theme park market, especially again with Epic Universe right down the road. And Tomorrow, I think, understands that guests have to love something for it to be a success. And I think that's why he's telling Imagineers, hey, let's go back, let's look at this again, and let's plus it, as Walt used to say, right? So, interesting things coming out of Villains Land. All right, let's move on to Disney Hollywood Studios. And Olaf, if you remember a couple of shows ago, we talked about this new Olaf animatronic that was free roaming. It seems now that Olaf might also be coming to Disney Hollywood Studios in the new Animation Academy that is being built as part of the redo of the Animation Courtyard at Disney Hollywood Studios. So Olaf is going to be leading guests through drawing their favorite Disney characters by introducing animators who have pre-recorded some drawing instructions. So I don't know if you remember, but there used to be something similar to this over at Disney Springs in the old Disney Quest building. There was a cast member.
It used to be at Hollywood Studios too.
Right, yeah. So Disney cast members would lead guests through drawing their favorite characters. And now it seems like they're going to replicate this to some extent at Animation Courtyard with Olaf doing it, where he will introduce animators. So some of the characters you'll be able to draw are the standard Mickey, Minnie, and Donald. They'll be adding in Genie and Moana. Also included will be Stitch, Olaf himself, Ursula, and then Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, of course, to play off.
I draw none of them. Like,
who would you
love that list?
Who would you draw? Who would you add?
Well, I mean, it's never going to be. I mean, Darkwing Duck would be the key.
Darkwing Duck. Yep, I can see that. So anyway, Josh Gad has been brought in to voice original dialogue for this. So no timeline yet on when this is going to go live, but be on the lookout for this new attraction over at Animation Courtyard. All right, let's move over to the West Coast over at Disneyland. Toy Story Midway Mania over there is going down for a refurb. Now, this is going to close on April 6th of this year. Currently, there's no reopening date that's been announced. This, of course, coincides with Toy Story 5.
Why does Disneyland, though? Like, I've never been jealous of anything at Disneyland before this.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say... Well, it does say that... It does say that... Go ahead.
If they have new elements of the new movie, then I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, well, that's probably, we're not going to say probably. We'll just say that this refurb coincides with the Toy Story 5 movie premiere that is going to be released on June 19. So let's just say there is a high probability that there will be new elements included that.
I just don't know. Like, you just do just new elements at Disneyland?
Well, it does say that there's nothing is going to be occurring right now at Walt Disney World or the version over.
If there is new elements, that's going to be hurtful. That's probably one of my favorite rides.
I have not ridden. First off, I've not been to Disneyland yet, so I can't compare the two rides. So I don't know if they're completely identical. Have you? You haven't been out to?
I haven't been out to Disneyland. I have no interest.
Yeah. Well, it's a bucket list. I kind of want to do it. Just
maybe when I go out to the Olympics.
There you go. All right. Let's go to Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. So it is going to be getting a new name and some new show elements. So the new name is going to be, and here's a mouthful, Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run, a new mission. Right. So this is one of those things where they want to let you know exactly what's happening in the title of the ride. So what's happening here is it's going to add the Mandalorian and Grogu to the ride, and you're going to be helping them track down ex-Imperial officers throughout the galaxy. So now this aligns actually with the plot of the upcoming movie. So they just dropped trailers.
But why are you in the Millennium Falcon?
Because you are helping the New Republic hunt down ex-Imperials. You know, they got to shoehorn it in somehow. So you're going to be, again, you're going to be helping hunt down ex-Imperial officers. So in addition, guests are now going to be able to kind of choose their own adventure. And that means they're going to be able to control the ride more about locations that you go to. There's going to be new things you have to do during the ride. So some of the new locations that are going to be added, Coruscant. So for the first time, you will be able to go to the home planet of the Republic, you know, the home planet of the Empire. And to me, that sounds like, you remember from Attack of the Clones, the second episode.
That's not too interesting.
Yeah.
The other three are, though.
Yeah, you'll be able to fly also to Bespin City, the Cloud City, from Empire Strikes Back. The Death Star 2 remains that are floating over Endor from Return of the Jedi. I could absolutely get on board with that.
Yep.
This last one, Tatooine. Man, why do we keep going back to Tatooine? It's
the center of the universe, man.
Thousands of worlds in this universe, and every time we go back to Tatooine. So
go back.
I just hope it's not a pod race thing. Man, just don't do a pod race. Because they already do that, I think, on Star Tours, right? Yeah. So hope it's not a pod race. Anyway, in addition, they've announced that they're going to give more activities, let's say, to the engineer and the other position that I can't remember the name of, besides the pilot and the gunner. So, because one of the things that DeMauro mentioned during his Guests That Like It But Don't Love It is that there weren't enough things to do for people who are not the pilot and not the gunner. So they will be people who are in those two positions, the engineer positions, will have more things to do and more interactive elements that actually shape how the ride occurs. So those are all coming as part of a refurb of the Smugglers Run. No dates yet, so be on the lookout for that. Okay, let's move to Disney Cruise Line. And Robert Downey Jr. has been named the godparent of the new ship in the Disney Cruise Line called the Disney Adventure. This is the new huge mega ship that was purchased by Bob Chapek's term as CEO. So this is going to be for the ship begins 3 and 4 night cruises from Singapore in March of 2026. I didn't realize it was that close, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yep. So anyway, Robert Downey Jr. has been named the new godparent, and as part of being the godparent, he will be there present when there's that centuries old maritime tradition where you come in and you name the ship and you break the champagne bottle across the bow. He will be the person to do that. And that is coming very soon. So good for Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
It is good. All right, folks, that is it for our very long Disney news. So with that, we are going to hear a word from our sponsor, and then we will go into the after show. Folks, are you looking for help planning your next vacation? Then look no further than our sponsor, Don'tResistTheTravel.com. Don'tResistTheTravel.com is there to help you regardless of what type of travel you're looking for. Want a family getaway to Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando? They've got you covered. They can plan your entire trip to ensure your days are filled with excitement and that you don't wander around going, what should we do next? It's already planned for you. What about if you're wanting a romantic getaway with that special someone? They've got you covered. Personalized travel that blends glamour and comfort with dining and spa treatment reservations and anything else designed to provide a pampered, luxurious trip. Wanting to get on a boat and take a cruise? They've got you covered. As partners with Disney Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean, they can handle every aspect of the process down to room selection and suggesting the best excursions to take so you get the most from port to port. So don't wait. Head on over to Don'tResistTheTravel.com and get the folks there to start helping you create that unforgettable vacation. And don't forget to let them know the guys at Rhubarb Travelers Podcast sent you. That's Don'tResistTheTravel.com. And we're back with the after show. So first off, let's head on over to Orlando, where there is a new $3 billion theme park. Plans have been filed in Orlando for something that is being done by Mattel, the toy company. They filed plans for a tourist commercial resort that will serve as a new flagship for a new national brand that they are developing. And they're doing it with, if you think about Florida, there are two big things that come into mind when you are at theme parks that might sour your day there. And one of them is that it gets incredibly hot in Florida during parts of the year.
Or incredibly cold if it's this year.
or the once every decade event where it actually gets below freezing in Florida. So but most times it's incredibly hot. And you also have to deal with thunderstorms that can pop up unpredictably at any time during a typical Florida afternoon, especially during the summer. So what do these plans include? There is a 90,000 square foot indoor water park with a retractable roof that is being developed.
I like that.
Yeah. So they are going to be able to, most of the time that roof will probably be open during the summer, but they will have the ability to close that roof if thunderstorms are coming near, so that they will be able to continue operations without pausing them. Because like Disney and the outside Volcano Bay at Universal, whenever you have a thunderstorm that's within a certain range of the parks, they have to shut them down. So with Mattel building this, they will not have to do that. So they will not lose out on any possible revenue of people not coming. Now, other things that are being planned for this park. There's going to be different areas. So one of them is going to be a Barbie area. And one of the big things there is going to be a Barbie beach house. And it's going to be using, go ahead.
The favorite part about this is a hologram.
Right. It's going to include hologram technology to bring Barbie to life. So I can imagine that.
Let's see what that means. That's going to be interesting if it's what again, holograms are what I've been looking for. So let's make sure you don't drop the ball here.
Right. Do you think it's going to be the
I think it might be
traditional
a show or something?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to have, do you think Barbie is going to be the traditional Barbie look, or is it going to be the Margot Robbie Barbie?
Wow. I think it's going to be the traditional Barbie look.
See, I think so too.
Especially if we're doing a hologram.
Right. It would be easier to design that, I think.
Yeah.
Than the Margot Robbie lookalike. It's also going to have a rooftop restaurant. No details yet on that, but I can almost imagine them having almost like a character dining experience there.
Yeah, top of the dream house or the beach house.
Yeah. Yep, something like that. What else is coming there? They are planning to me, this is what I'm excited about. A Hot Wheels Twin Racer, both indoor and outdoor section roller coaster. So it's going to mimic the iconic loops and drops that you know from Hot Wheels sets where you can shoot those cars out and they will ride along the track. I can absolutely see
it'll be interesting to see how like crazy they go here.
Right. Now, again, this is going to be indoor and outdoor, so this will be somewhat reliant on weather, but this one looks really cool. And then other than that, they are planning on a Masters of the Universe He-Man versus Skeletor laser tag.
Woo! Yeah, and this is interesting because I didn't realize how big of a push Mattel is making with the new Masters of the Universe movie. Again, doing stuff at BSC Kids, Mattel reaches out a fair amount, and I was surprised at how much they're doing. They're doing book publishing, they're doing a lot of stuff. So this is going to be one of their bigger IPs. And what's kind of nice about it is that like it plays the whole family angle. Like you can kind of go any age with He-Man and Skeletor.
Right. I mean, and
I don't know how they're going to do this like laser tag though. Like is it like
here's what so there's two ways they can go with this. It's either team versus team, like your traditional laser tag facility that you have, or I wonder if they're going to do something similar to the Minions Villain Con that they have now at Universal, where you're riding along that moving walkway and shooting things. I wonder if it's
sound like it. I mean, this is an arena, right? Like, so I think it's the prior. I think that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think so too. My concern there
definitely going to be worth a trip for me. Like, I'll definitely go here.
I'm going to be interested to see how Universal controls that, because whenever you get into team versus team, I mean, people are going to people, right? There's going to be some people in there that just get way too over the top involved with that.
I don't think it's going to matter. There's going to be so many people that I think that's kind of how you stop that, where like really at the end of the day, one person's ability doesn't necessarily flip the script.
Right. Yeah.
But it will be interesting. Like I said, I'm curious to see how this all goes down. I know that there's another Mattel park. I think there's one in Dollywood. There's a Nerf. I think there's a Nerf laser tag over there.
Right.
Which we haven't been to yet, but it's kind of been on our list. So going to see how this goes.
Yep.
I'm excited though. Anytime there's extra stuff to do in Orlando, I feel like it's always good because we have these DVC rooms. And again, now that you're telling me that, Villains Land is in 29, if I want to go to Orlando and just kind of hit these small things, I mean, that's great. It's kind of what we did at Dollywood. Like, there's so much to do in, Pigeon Forge, and you don't realize it because you're going to Dollywood. And then it's like, oh, we made 2 trips where we didn't go to Dollywood at all. We did the other things, and that was fun too. So.
Right. And that's interesting that you say that, because that kind of ties in with the plan. So if you look at the plans overall, there's not enough here for Mattel to say, we're going to just go head to head with Disney. I think what the plans here suggest is just like what you said, this is going to be the off-site day. So where you go to Disney, but you plan for a day to do something else, like originally it was like SeaWorld or something like that. But now there's going to be one more option for you to do where you can go off-site and do something. Now, this is going to be located on about 11 acres of land. It's about 10 minutes from Walt Disney World's front gates. So this is custom built and prime for an offsite day. So again, no dates announced yet. This is in the very early pre-planning stages, so lots of things can change, but we will keep an eye out for this. All right. let's move over to Universal. Universal has filed some permits for permanent trailers, construction trailers, near the rumored Epic Universe Harry Potter expansion area. So the project area is just north of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter land in Epic Universe, and it's part of a backstage complex of buildings that support this newest theme park within Universal's portfolio. Now, the interesting thing here is that these are just not trailers that you roll in and they're not very established. These are more of the permanent trailers where you have multiple trailers combined into one, and there's lots of waterworks.
We just get our Quidditch ride already.
Yeah. So,
really?
So this suggests something bigger on the horizon. So, and the fact that it's right next to the Harry Potter land, this is kind of suggesting that this expansion is coming sooner rather than later. So let's hope that we get that.
If Epic Universe gets an expansion out before they get Villains Land done, that's something.
Which is also part of the reason why Tomorrow might be pushing this 24-hour construction timeline for Villains Land, because they know what's coming down. Well, they have some, high probability of what's coming down the pipe from Universal. All right, let's stay at Universal. Universal is offering new ticket packages, and they're leaning into grabbing more of that week-long vacation market that's kind of dominated right now by Disney. So what are we talking about? There is a new package that has come out by Universal where you can get 2 free days when you buy a 5-day ticket. So we are now looking at a full 7 days of Universal. And with this new package, all 4 parks are included. So that includes Epic Universe, right? If you wanted to, you could just do the 3 parks that include Epic Universe, but you have the ability to add on Volcano Bay for $10 more. So now here is the interesting thing. When you do the math, if you just do the three parks without Volcano Bay, that comes out to $65 per day per person, which when you compare that to Disney, that's a steal of a deal.
Oh,
you can add on Volcano Bay for just $10 more. So
I still haven't been to Volcano Bay. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I've never been to any of the water parks there. So
they don't have Volcano Bay. So
yeah. So a maximum of $75 per day per person. Man, that seems like a real deal, and it could turn some heads.
It definitely could. I don't know if you're really talking 7 days. I mean, we've been there before, so it's tough. So 7 days. So I guess you really could Volcano Bay 2 days, right? The beginning, end, and then you could 5 days at the other parks. That I could get down with. Yeah, I guess it is possible.
Yeah, I think I'd do 1 day Volcano Bay, probably at least 3 at Epic Universe.
I don't think you need 3.
Really?
No, I think 2 would be the max.
Even after they...
Well, you're talking about adding 1 ride. Let's not get crazy here.
Yeah. All right. And so in addition to these ticket packages, you are able to combine this with some current on-site hotel offers that are out there of a $300 hotel dining credit. So this is available if you book hotel stays at Cabana Bay, Aventura, Stella Nova, and Terra Luna. And there are some date requirements on these packages. The valid dates you have to book between February 19, which we've already passed, through May 6. And this is specifically for travel dates of April 12th through September 3rd. So we are looking at the entire summer time at Universal. So if you are planning on going to Universal anytime between April 12th and September 3rd of this year, you might want to think about looking at this package deal because it is pretty good for sure. Now, this does require a 5-night stay at any of those hotels that we just mentioned. And you have to add in the park-to-park ticket. So it's just not where you buy the ticket for one park on a particular day. You've got to buy park-to-park, which is, the Universal equivalent of park hopping. So let's move on to dinosaurs and other
Not
Jurassic.
the Disney kind.
Yeah, not the Disney kind. This is at Universal still. So dinosaurs and other Jurassic World props have arrived over at Universal Hollywood. So we are back out on the West Coast. These props have shown up backstage in an empty lot behind the Revenge of the Mummy attraction, which is not that far from Jurassic World, the ride. So what's shown up are some dinosaurs, a T-Rex, and a Spinosaurus. And the InGen vehicles. InGen was the DNA company that was prominent in the movies. So vehicles like trucks and boats and things like that, and various other props such as crates and dinosaur cages and trees. So these props used to be part of the Jurassic Park experience on the studio tour at Universal Hollywood. Now there's some speculation about this could be tied to the upcoming Fan Fest nights out at Universal Hollywood.
So.
Yeah. So it could be similar.
Thank you.
Yeah, to the Harry Potter special entertainment from last year's Fan Fest, where there were some wandering puppeteers that had creatures from the Fantastic Beasts movie series. And so what they're hoping is that this could be something similar for Jurassic World. Now, in support of this, Universal Hollywood recently put out a casting call for dinosaur puppeteers. Man, how would you like to have that on your resume?
I mean, that seems like a lot of work, though. Dinosaurs are kind of big.
Yeah, right. And face actors that resemble John Hammond and Ian Malcolm and Dennis Nedry, who, of course, are the actors from the movie. So it looks like they are going to do something. It's very strong probability that they're going to be doing something during Fan Fest nights. And this, of course, ties in with the 25th anniversary of the release of Jurassic Park 3. Man, it's been 25 years since that. Amazing.
Yeah, a long time.
Yep. All right. Let's move over to our last bit of after show
we can't
news.
break this hour. We got to finish up.
I know. Dollywood. Let's go to Dollywood. Dollywood. Wow, this is cool. Dollywood has announced a new one-time themed air flight from Orlando to Knoxville. Knoxville is the airport that serves the Dollywood area. This is going to occur on November 6th of this year, and it is in partnership with Allegiant Airlines. And so for this one flight, first off, they're going to rename the flight number to Allegiant Flight number 925, which is, of course, in reference to Dolly's hit movie 9 to 5 back in the 80s. And on this flight, passengers are going to enjoy special gate celebrations and live entertainment within Orlando's airport. There will be in-flight trivia during the flight, exclusive merch, and themed food and drinks during the flight. So if you purchase Dollywood tickets in conjunction with this, you will get a special park experience on November 7th during the Smoky Mountain Christmas time. And there's going to be exclusive ride time just for those folks, special treats, and reserved show seating. So this sounds like something similar to Disney's Very Merry Christmas Party, where people will be able to have these exclusive experiences. So there's also a special lodging package that's in association with this, where you will get 25% off lodging for November 6th and 7th. There's going to be a $100 resort credit, 2 Dollywood tickets if you get this special lodging package, and complimentary time savers, which is Dollywood's version of Lightning Lane and Express Pass.
Yep.
So, and they're going to include trolley transportation to the park from your resort. So,
trolley transportation is nice, I will tell you.
Yeah. It runs continuously, I would assume, during the day, right?
Yeah, it's not as continuous as you want, right?
Right.
There's still delays. If I remember, there's like 2 trolleys, right, from the area. But it's not bad. I mean, we've used it and then also driven in, just depending on what we feel like doing.
Right. So if you live down in the Orlando area and you've never tried Dollywood, now might be the time to go in November. All right, folks, that is going to wrap it up for today. Whew.
Keep it under an hour. Thank goodness.
All right, yeah. So we'd like to thank our sponsor, Don'tResistTheTravel.com. If you live in Orlando and want to go to this Dollywood thing, reach out to the folks at Don't Resist the Travel. They will be able to help you with that and plan that incredible Dollywood experience. And they can obviously also help you out with any Disney World trips you want to take, any Universal trips you want to take, or any trips in general that you want to take. They are not restricted to that. So please reach out to those folks. Don'tResistTheTravel.com. They would love to help you out. Listen to us on all the podcast streaming services. I am tired. Words are getting hard for me, folks. Sorry about that. We are on all of those services. If we are not on your favorite platform, please drop us a line and we will see about getting on that. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. Go to Spotify, do the same thing. And on both of them, please make sure to put us on automatic downloads so that we show up in your library ready to listen to. That helps us out with the algorithms and getting the show out to everyone. If you have any questions or you have any trip reports, please email us at rhubarbtravelerspodcast@gmail.com. Again, we have a Patreon. Please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. It helps us out quite a bit. And then check us out on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So, 2 weeks until the next show, and until then, Damon, I will talk to you later, my friend.
Sounds good.
Folks, the Rhubarb Travelers podcast is for entertainment purposes only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company or NBC Universal, the parent company of Universal Studios. And as such, all opinions expressed on the show are exclusively our own. Please consult a DVC or Disney cast member or Universal team member for more information about anything we might have talked about today.